Well, I guess fall is here, or maybe even the early winter. It went from being 60s and 70s during the day and 40s, 50s at night to 40s and 50s during the day and 30s at night. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy weather we're having here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, which is kind of putting a damper on my camping videos that I was wanting to go do. Don't go camping in cold weather. Once it gets past about 40-ish, it's not enjoyable to me. So, might have to wait a little bit for a camping video. Work's going okay. Black Friday went off without a hitch, or a big hitch. It went off. Christmas is right around the corner. And if I don't get to talk to y'all before Christmas, I wish everybody a safe and Merry Christmas and maybe even a Happy New Year. We'll see how it goes. But until then, I have 5 envelopes that we're going to open up on today's Mailbag Monday. So this first one comes to me from Fort Wayne, Indiana area. Let's see what I got from Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is the Gulf State Park Resort located in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Or I should say, was located in Gulf Shores, Alabama. All these hotel area here, they got destroyed in a hurricane. I can't think of the name of the hurricane now. If I find out what it is, I'll put it here at the bottom of the screen somewhere. Yeah, the storm surge pretty much wiped them out. They're gone. There is other part of this park that's over here. This is the major highway that runs along the beach in Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. Over here is more of the park now. I think they rebuilt some things over here. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I haven't been down that way in quite a while. I know that these are not there in that form. But let's take a look here and read about it here. It says, like a crown jewel, the beautiful Gulf State Park Resort sits atop the sand dunes along the beach amid seagulls, seashells, and the surging surf of the Gulf of Mexico. Located within the Gulf State Park's 6,000 acres, the resort offers tennis, golf, pool, or beach swimming, resort lounge, and convention facilities for up to 600. The park has 2.5 miles of sugar white beaches, campgrounds, cottages, fishing, boating, skiing, and an 820-foot saltwater fishing pier. I don't even know if that pier is there anymore. I know a couple of the piers out that way got destroyed, but yeah, that's kind of why I got this, because I remember these being there as a kid and wanting to go there and stay there as a kid, but it was too close to the house, and we always just, when we left the beach, we always went back to the house. It's about an hour, a little over an hour away from the house, so never got to stay in them. But funny enough, the campground that's over here now, that's been there, but it's still here, they have some tent camping area, primitive tent camping area. So I'm going to try to do that here, maybe early spring when the weather gets a little bit warmer. I may be heading out that way. So yeah, I just grabbed hold of this card. It wasn't, a couple bucks, so it would go along with the local or semi-local history postcard collection. And this next one comes to me from the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. I have never been to Pittsburgh. I really want to, because there is a nice amusement park up that way called Kennywood. I'm sure some of y'all have heard of Kennywood. That is one of my bucket list theme parks to go to. Problem is, it's a good ways away, and yeah, I'm gonna get there before I die. How about that? That's why it's a bucket list place for me. So let's see what I got from the Pittsburgh area. This is 3 postcards from the Natchez Trace Parkway. Now, if you recall, last year about this time, I was ending up my journey along the Natchez Trace Parkway, and I'd seen these cards on eBay a while back. It was one big group of them, and it wasn't really expensive. It was maybe like $4 for all of them, and maybe $1 for shipping. Pretty good deal. So I went ahead and grabbed them. I don't have these postcards, so it worked out even better. All these I have seen, except for this right here, the Natchez Trace Village. Now, I don't recall this being a stop along the trace. It looks like it is a little community of that area along the Natchez Trace. If I'm not mistaken, this is along outside of Jackson, Mississippi. I'm pretty sure that's where this is. It says 10 minutes beyond the city limits of Old Canton Road. So yeah, that's outside of Jackson, on the north side of Jackson, that area. So that's where that is. And this is the visitor center in Jackson or Tupelo. Let's see, Tupelo. Take a look at what it says here. It says Natchez Trace Parkway, Tupelo Visitor Center, located 5 miles north of Tupelo, Mississippi. Features exhibits and audiovisual programs describing the historic Natchez Trace. Administered by the National Park Service, U.S. Department of the Interior. Now, I've been in this this building probably 3 or 4 times over the history of my life. It doesn't look like this anymore. It's gotten some remodels, and I think it's been added onto here, the front, added more exhibits and things like that. There's a little movie theater, a bookstore, souvenir gift shop, things of that nature. I even believe this little patio here has been enclosed from the weather too. So if you've been on the Natchez Trace Parkway up there towards Tupelo, this is the old version of it, probably from the 70s, maybe even the 80s. I figured that'd be an interesting collection. And this next postcard is the Choctaw boundary. If I'm not mistaken, this is where basically it's either the separation between 2 Indian tribes or the separation between an Indian tribe and the Eastern people, however you say it. Let's take a look at what it says here on the back of it. It says the Natchez Trace Parkway Choctaw boundary. One of the many markers along the parkway calling attention to and describing points of interest, located between Jackson and Kosciuszko, Mississippi, administered by the National Park Service, U.S. Department of Interior. It's kind of hard to, I don't know if my camera's going to be able to focus on it there. But, yeah, this is if I'm not mistaken, this is where, okay. So if you look right here, my finger's pointing at, or let me get that right. If I can find it there. It says you are there, right there where my live point is. That looks like the boundary between the Choctaw and the, I guess you say the white man, the Eastern settlers coming in, that sort of thing. So that's what that that point of interest is on the Natchez Trace. That was a good, pretty fun trip that I made a couple of years, last year, seeing all those points of interest along the way. So that's why I went ahead and grabbed these. Don't have too many Natchez Trace postcards, but this will go nicely with that collection. So this next one comes to me from Kansas City, Missouri. I've been to Kansas City, Missouri. I've also been to Kansas City, Kansas. Back in the 97, 98, that time frame. I never knew there was 2 different cities, but 2 different states. They're right next to each other. That got interesting because we were on a school trip, and the teacher that was driving us, she got lost. And that was before the days of MapQuest and Google Maps and all that good stuff. And yeah, we ended up some interesting parts of town looking for our hotel. Anyways, let's see what the postcard is here. This is along the Gulf of Mexico in Gulf Shores, Alabama. So I'm kind of on a Gulf Shores kick. A lot of this has changed. The postcard that I just showed you previously with the Gulf Park Resort, it is back off this way on the eastern part of town. This is the major highway that runs through town. Now, I'm going to see if I can do a Google Earth or whatever street view of this view and let you see how much it's changed. This is postmarked 1973, 1978, let's just say the 70s. It has changed since I've been there, since the 80s to the 90s, 2000s, and I haven't been down there in quite a few. Wow. Main reason why is it's not so quaint anymore. There is a lot of big condos and things like that that really just, I don't know, it makes the beach just look ugly to me. It's not how I grew up remembering it. My family would go out to Gulf Shores 2-3 times a year in the summertime because it was close by the house, and we enjoy our time out there. I actually remember this little amusement park type thing there. It's not there. A lot of this stuff got wiped away by that hurricane that I previously spoke of. And there was another hurricane after that, probably in the late 90s, early 2000s, that did even more damage, which raised insurance prices up. So all those small mom and pop shops and little mom and pop getaway hotels and things, they closed up and never went back. And these big condominiums came in and it's like, hey, we'll buy it up. And now you got these big, massive, 10, 20 story buildings out there. There's some places you can't even see the beach from the highway. It's ugly to me. I'm sorry, it's ugly. It is what it is. I don't like it. But I just thought it was cool to get this postcard to kind of remember the way I kind of remember it. And let's take a look here and see what it says about the Gulf Shores. It says, Gulf Shores, Alabama. The dazzling white sand along the Gulf of Mexico meets the azure blue sky to enhance the pleasure of thousands of people who come for fun to this busy resort area. And then it has somebody's little note back home. So yeah, that's why I got this postcard. This is one of the reasons why I do these postcards, is to remember the past in the way that I remember it, or the way before that, just to see how things grow. Unfortunately, I don't like how Gulf Shores has grown. And the next postcard comes to us from Springfield, Ohio. I might have been to Springfield, Ohio. I had a relative that lived in Ohio in the 90s. I can't think of where she lived at back then. I remember going to as a kid back in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, to her house, traveling up that way. I can't remember where it was. I don't know. Anyways, what I have here is the Royal Gorge. This is a postcard from the Royal Gorge. It's a vista of the Royal Gorge showing the world's steepest incline in the world's highest bridge, Canyon City, Colorado. I've never been here, but my dad went here on a business trip in the late 90s, mid 90s. It was mid 90s. I'm not sure what it was for. It was for work, but and I remember him telling about going to the Royal Gorge. I'm not sure if he walked across the bridge, but at one point, if you can see, yeah, let's do the old pencil here. If you look, pencil's got something on it. Okay, if you look right here, if you look right there, my pencil is showing, that is the Royal Gorge's incline railway, and supposedly that was at one time the steepest one in the world. Now, why do we say was? Well, there was a fire back, oh boy, I'll put it at the bottom of the screen here. I can't remember when it was. I want to say it was late 90s, early 2000s. I really can't remember. I think it was a wildfire that actually burnt a lot of the station and a little bit of the bridge and a bunch of buildings off in the area. So they ended up closing down the incline railway and never rebuilt it back, sadly. The bridge was okay. There was a cable gondola ride that went across the bridge. That's not in this picture. It was built after all this was taken, obviously. And I think they had some damage to it, but I think it's still going too. And also, if you look down there in the bottom of that canyon, is a train that goes down through the canyon. So that was kind of cool too. I always like to go to this, but it's quite a ways away from me. So it's going to be on the bucket list, but we'll see. And let's take a look and see what it says here about it. It says the Royal Gorge is one of the world's deepest chasms. It is 1,053 feet from the suspension bridge to the track. The D&R GWRR runs through the depth of the gorge, stopping at the hanging bridge to show passengers the magnitude of the gorge. And there's that railroad we were talking about just now, and it looks like there are some tracks that go there. I don't know how all that lays out down there. I never looked into it too much. I know I like to go there, but yeah. So I found this car when I was researching or doing some looking for cars about incline railways, not just the one in Chattanooga or Lookout Mountain that sadly recently there was a brush fire this weekend that caught it on fire and burnt some of the tracks up, if I'm not mistaken. I found a picture on Reddit, and I'll show it here. Looking down from the top, you can see that there was a pretty substantial fire. The incline is going to be down for a while. I'm not sure the severity of the fire or severity of the damage to it, but unfortunately, it's going to be down for a while. So, anyways, searching out, and I found this card, and it wasn't too expensive, and I figured to go along with my collection of incline railways and also things I want to go do and see. Well, my coffee's running low, which is a good thing because I'm on the last postcard here. That comes from me from the Sacramento, California area. More Elk Grove, California. Never been to California. It's one of those places. There's a couple things out there I'd like to go see, but nothing too bucket list worthy that I can think of. Maybe there is. I don't know. It's a good ways away. Let's see what we got here. If I can get it open. Huh. Never seen that before. That's kind of cool. Got a little QR code. If you want to scan that, you can visit their store. Oh boy, this one is a little bit difficult. There we go. Don't let it whoop you, Sean. Yep, it's Monday. And this is another envelope. Wow, they really protected this one pretty good. Let's take a look at the rest of their cards. Okay, so what we have here is a motel. Got some people enjoying the swimming pool, getting a tan. Now let's see where this is at. Oh yes, this is the Ramada Inn in Mobile, Alabama on Government Street, which is more commonly known as Highway 90. But in town they call it Government Street. This is no longer here. I have another postcard from this that showed the front of this that's newer than this postcard. This postcard is probably from looking at the bathing suits, probably the 50s or 60s. Maybe into the 70s, not quite sure. But the postcard I have now has a newer, well, I say newer, probably 70s or 80s era entrance to the motel there. And let's take a look and see what it says here about the hotel. It says 205 guest rooms, TV, and year-round air conditioning, featuring Constantine's world-famous foods, banquet and convention facilities available for $600. So I thought that was kind of cool. It was another view of that hotel or motel that I have already, and didn't cost me too much, a couple bucks probably at the most. I just thought it was kind of a little interesting view or different view. I'd never seen this postcard before and this view before the motel, so I figured to go along with the somewhat local history postcard collection. Current day, this is a shopping center that has like a grocery store. It's like a big strip mall, the big grocery store. I forgot what grocery store is in there. I pass by it probably once a month or so, and never really remember the hotel being there. I'm not sure when it closed down. Probably, I'm just going to guess 70s, 80s, maybe 90s. I don't recall the hotel ever being there, but I may have just overlooked it, so. But yeah, I just thought it'd be an interesting collection, or excuse me, interesting addition to go along with my intrigueness, I guess you say. I'm intrigued by motels. Motels are interesting to me. A lot of motels are mom and pop motels. When you think of hotels are more newer, enclosed. Motels, the drive-up ones that have the balconies and stuff, that's the older style. I kind of like the older style ones, but it's kind of hard to find older style ones that have been taken care of. So, yeah. But anyways, this is a good little of that collection. So that completes this week's Mailbag Monday. Kind of an interesting collection. I have a motel. I have a postcard. This one's not postmarked. I didn't tell you what date it is. I'm just going to guess probably the 40s, sometime that frame, give or take a little bit. Another Gulf Shores. 2 Gulf Shores postcards, actually. 2 different ends of the beach there. And then 3 postcards from the Natchez Trace area. It's kind of an interesting little collection of postcards. Nothing too interesting. I mean, it's interesting to me, but I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm tired. It's been a Monday. But yeah, just kind of interesting little menagerie of postcards that I collected this week. Not too many coming in more. I got a couple more coming in. With Christmas coming out, my extra spending is now going to Christmas gifts and things like that. So I might have one more Mailbag Monday video this year, and then they'll probably start back up in mid-January, late January, whenever the funds start coming back in a little bit more solid, I guess you'd say. So, but like I said before, if I don't get to speak to y'all before Christmas, hope everybody has a safe and Merry Christmas. And if I don't speak to y'all before New Year's, I wish y'all the best of luck in 2025, and Happy New Year's. But like always, I appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time.